There's a magical number in personal finance. It is a number that has been glorified in movies, heavily referenced in pop culture, and universally accepted as the ultimate benchmark of financial success. That number is $1 million. Since you were old enough to understand what money was, you were likely conditioned to believe that becoming a millionaire was the ultimate finish line. You probably imagine that when someone finally hits a $1 million net worth, their life completely changes. You picture them driving a matte black luxury sports car, living in a sprawling mansion with a perfectly manicured lawn, wearing a $10,000 watch, and taking private jets to exotic islands. You assume that $1 million portfolio looks incredibly complex, filled with secret hedge funds, exclusive venture capital deals, and insider stock picks that normal people do not have access to, but I'm gonna pull back the curtain today and show you the brutal, unglamorous truth. I'm gonna expose exactly what a real, actual $1 million portfolio looks like in the modern economy. I'm gonna strip away all the Hollywood myths and social media flexing and show you the exact math, the exact assets, and the exact lifestyle of the modern millionaire next door, because the reality of $1 million is going to absolutely shock you. It is not what you think it is, and understanding what this portfolio actually looks like is the only way you will ever be able to build one yourself. To understand what a real $1 million portfolio looks like, we first have to completely destroy the illusion of the $30,000 millionaire. When you scroll through social media or when you drive through a trendy downtown area, you see people who look like they have millions of dollars. They are wearing designer clothes, driving leased luxury SUVs, and ordering bottle service at expensive clubs. These people do not have $1 million portfolio. These people have an $80,000 salary, a massive amount of high interest credit card debt, and zero actual wealth. They are optimizing entirely for status, trading their future freedom for the temporary illusion of looking rich. The person who actually possesses a $1 million liquid portfolio looks completely different. They are the person you do not even notice. They are driving a 6-year-old Honda or Toyota that they bought in cash. They are wearing comfortable, unbranded clothing. They live in a modest middle-class neighborhood that they bought 10 years ago. They do not fly first class. They fly economy, and they probably use credit card points to pay for the flight. They are incredibly boring, and their portfolio is just as boring as their lifestyle. So let us open the vault. Let us break down the exact asset allocation of a typical self-made $1 million portfolio. You might expect to see massive speculative bets on the latest cryptocurrency or angel investments in a disruptive tech startup, but you will not find any of that. The foundation of a real $1 million portfolio is built almost entirely on the most boring, unsexy financial vehicle ever created: broad market index funds. In a standard $1 million portfolio, you will typically find that roughly $700,000, 70% of the entire net worth, is invested heavily in index funds like the S&P 500 or a total stock market index. This money is entirely automated. The millionaire does not log into their brokerage account every day to check the charts. They do not day trade. They do not try to time the market. They simply buy fractional ownership of the 500 largest, most profitable companies in the United States, and they leave it alone. They let the CEOs of Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon do the hard work of generating profits while they quietly collect the compounding returns. This $700,000 is highly liquid, highly diversified, and historically compounds at an average rate of 8 to 10% over the long term. Next, you will typically find about $150,000, 15% of the portfolio allocated to tax advantage retirement accounts like a 401k or a Roth IRA. This is money that the millionaire has methodically contributed over the past 15 to 20 years, taking full advantage of employer matches and tax-free growth. They understand that minimizing taxes is one of the greatest wealth building hacks in existence, so they max out these boring traditional accounts every single year without fail. Then you might see about $100,000, 10% of the portfolio held in individual stocks or a concentrated sector ETF. This is the millionaire's play money. They might have a strong conviction about a specific technology company, or perhaps they receive stock options from their employer. But notice the percentage. It is only 10%. They are not betting their entire financial future on a single company or a volatile trend. They keep their speculative bets strictly quarantined so that if the individual stock completely collapses, their overall wealth is protected by the index funds. Finally, you will find about $50,000, 5% of the portfolio sitting in cash, but it is not sitting in a traditional bank account earning zero interest. It is parked in a high yield savings account or a money market fund, generating 4 or 5% interest safely. This cash serves two vital purposes. First, it acts as an impenetrable emergency fund, ensuring that a medical disaster or job loss will never force them to sell their investments at a bad time. Second, it acts as dry powder, liquid capital ready to be deployed if the stock market crashes and assets go on sale at a massive discount. That is it. That is the entire secret $700,000 $500,000 in index funds, $150,000 in retirement accounts, $100,000 in individual stocks, and $50,000 in cash. There are no secret hedge funds. There are no offshore accounts. It is a stunningly simple, incredibly boring, highly effective wealth machine. Now we have to address the most terrifying reality of the $1 million portfolio in the modern economy. When you look at that exact breakdown, you have to ask the ultimate question. How much actual spendable freedom does $1 million buy you today? We have established that $1 million is a massive achievement, a testament to decades of discipline, but because of the relentless, silent thief known as inflation, $1 million simply does not possess the purchasing power it had 20 years ago. If you want to retire and live entirely off the income generated by a $1 million portfolio, financial planners universally recommend using the 4% rule. The 4% rule states that you can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio's initial value every year, adjusting for inflation without running out of money over a 30-year retirement. Let us do the math on a $1 million portfolio. 4% of $1 million is exactly $40,000 a year. $40,000 a year, that is your reality. When you achieve the millionaire milestone, your portfolio can safely provide you with roughly $3,333 a month in passive income. Does $3,300 a month sound like private jets and bottle service? Does it sound like sprawling mansions and European sports cars? No. In many modern cities, $3,300 a month barely covers the cost of rent and basic utilities. It is not rich, it is comfortable survival. This is the psychological shock that hits people when they finally see the real numbers. The millionaire next door is not living a life of extreme luxury, they are living a life of profound security. A $1 million portfolio does not buy you unlimited consumption. It buys you options, it buys you the ability to walk away from a toxic boss. It buys you the ability to take a lower paying job that you actually love. It buys you the freedom to sleep peacefully at night, knowing that a sudden medical bill will not bankrupt your family. It buys peace of mind, not prestige. The people who truly understand wealth recognize this mathematical reality early on. They do not view $1 million as the finish line where they get to stop working and buy a Ferrari. They view $1 million as the first major milestone of financial autonomy. They understand that the first million is incredibly difficult to build because it is generated almost entirely by saving and investing active labor. But here's the incredible mathematical beauty of hitting that first million. Once you achieve it, the rules of the game completely change. The portfolio begins to generate its own massive gravity. Because of the power of compound interest, the second $1 million is vastly easier to accumulate than the first. Think about it, to get from $0 to $1 million, assuming an 8% return and investing $1,000 a month, it takes nearly 26 years of relentless grinding discipline. But to go from $1 million to $2 million, assuming that same 8% return and that same $1,000 monthly investment, it takes less than 8 years. The third million takes less than 5 years. The portfolio begins doing the heavy lifting for you. The money itself becomes the hardest working employee you have ever hired. This is why looking behind the curtain of a real $1 million portfolio is so important. It destroys the glamorous myths that discourage normal people from trying. When you think a millionaire is someone with a secret formula and a lifestyle of excess, you feel like wealth is unattainable. But when you realize that the average millionaire is just a normal person who drove a reliable car, avoided consumer debt, and consistently automated their money into boring index funds for 2 decades, you realize that wealth is entirely within your grasp. It is not about being a genius, it is about being consistent. The secret to building $1 million portfolio is not finding the perfect investment. It is executing a boring plan with ruthless discipline over a long period of time. It requires you to ignore the noise, ignore the status games your peers are playing, and quietly build a financial fortress brick by boring brick. If you're ready to stop playing the status game and start building an actual highly effective $1 million portfolio of your own, you need to know exactly how to structure your accounts, which specific index funds to buy, and how to automate the entire process so it requires zero daily effort. To get the complete detailed breakdown of how to build this wealth machine from the ground up, click on the video appearing on your screen right now. It will give you the exact blueprint to start your journey to $1 million today, but before you do, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another hard truth. That will help you build real wealth. Okay, I will see you over there.